This is something that I've always told my son, who again, I mentioned is my loan partner. It's not about the dollars and the cent that'll come. You think about a tree, right? When you plant a tree, it's small, right? But as it grows year over year, an oak tree specifically ends up with a huge trunk and a lot of branches with a lot of leaves. And that's how I build my business, right? I want to be the biggest oak tree that I can possibly be, even if the smallest branch, because that $140,000 loan that you've done, or that down payment assistance, or that family that you've helped that nobody else will, I promise you will bring you in additional business. And that's what I've stood on for the past 21 years.
We are back for another loan officer spotlight. And once again, we missed the boat, literally the cruise boat, and didn't get to record it there. So we're doing it back in our home studios. And I am excited to do this interview with Dione Oliver, who is based out of the great state of Michigan. But I'm going to stop telling you anything more about her because I want her to tell you. So, Dione, first of all, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where specifically in Michigan you are, what states you work in, and kind of what brought you up in the mortgage business.
Yes, well, thank you so much for having me, Jeff. I'm Dione Oliver. I'm known around these parts as the mortgage lady. I have been doing mortgages originating since 2003. I did real estate assisting a little bit before that, and that's kind of what got me into the business. I was a stay-at-home mom, and you can only clean out so many closets and organize so many things. So I'd get my son, who's now my loan partner, off on the bus and go to Remax Select in Flint, Michigan from 9 to 3 and get him off of the bus. And we'd go about our day. Well, some things changed in my life and I needed to have a little bit more secure income. So I tracked down one of the local loan officers who was very successful in our area. And I said, hey, I see what you're doing. I see you in and out of the office. You're always smiling, having a good time. I want to do what you do. And she goes, all right, well, come on in. And, she interviewed me and hired me back on the spot. When, mind you, that was what, 21 years ago. So things were a little bit different back then than just saying, hey, come on in and start originating these days. It's different. Anyways, so that's kind of where it all started. And from 2003 to now, I have just made my way through Genesee County primarily, but I service all of Michigan. I have the Gladwin area. I have a place up in UP on Lake Superior, so I try to get up that way and do a little business. I'm licensed in Florida, Tennessee, Illinois, Alabama as well. I've just done onesie twosies in Alabama because that's where my dad's family is all from. Illinois is where I formerly worked out of, my company that I formerly worked for. And I still have a girl that works for me now that is a licensed loan officer there. So I've kept my license swinging. But Michigan is my home. I grew up in the Flint area. Flint schools. My son graduated from Flushing. So it's a small little community, but there's a lot to be said for it. It's my home and I love it.
And are you still in Flint?
I actually am on the outskirts of Flint now. I live in an area called Clio, which isn't far from Birchmont. It's maybe like 20 minutes outside of Flint. My office is located in Flint. So I'll always be a Flint girl.
Got it. Got it. Cool. And you mentioned you say you have a place up on Lake Superior?
I do. I fell in love with snowmobiling, and Grand Marais, Michigan is on Lake Superior, and we would go snowmobiling through there. And I told my boyfriend and my son, I thought I'm about to have a place here. I love it up here. It's a small community, 200 and some people, and it's just gorgeous. I just love it. And so I actually put a purchase agreement in sight unseen, which is kind of a no-no for somebody of my in my
expertise.
business. Yeah, but it worked out well for me. And so now we Airbnb it when we're not there. We have a property management company that takes care of it, and it's working out wonderfully. It's gorgeous up there. I tell my boyfriend, one day we'll be up there, probably living, still originating, of course, but yeah, for sure.
what is like geographically, how far north are we talking here? Because I'm
Five
not super.
hours.
Oh, so like up near like the border of Canada, I assume.
Yeah, it's up over to the west side of the Upper Peninsula.
Okay, so
Yeah,
way up
yeah.
there.
I'm
And
geographically challenged. I know that sounds terrible, and I hate to admit
hey, you
it.
know more than I do.
Yeah, but yeah, I love it up there.
Is there any, so you mentioned snowmobiling. What about any water activity?
Oh my gosh, you can do anything up there. There's Sable Falls, Pictured Rocks, and Munising is only a 40-minute drive. There's lookouts everywhere, sand dunes. It is the most unbelievably beautifully. We do side by sides in the summer, snowmobiling in the winter. There's swimming. There's nothing you can't do. Kayaking. People have their houseboats out there. You see the planes coming in on the water. Yeah, they have air shows up there all the time. There's a really beautiful like a park up there where you can pull your motorhome and stuff and stay. It's
Mhm.
very kid and family oriented. Everybody in that small town knows everybody. So like the clerk is also the bartender, also owns like a store up there. You know what I mean? So I
Mhm.
really love that small family style community.
That's really
I'll be
cool.
up there permanently one
And
day.
Superior is like a small ocean. I mean, it's huge.
It's yeah, small ocean is yeah, right. I was just up there with my dad, and he loves shipwrecks, and so we did the shipwreck. The Edmund Fitzgerald actually sank not too far from where my place is,
Oh, cool.
and so we visited the shipwrecks in the museum and stuff like that. And it is a violent body of water, to say
Really?
the least. And
Oh,
we've got to be very careful. So the break wall is just around the corner from where our house is. So, we had my contractors were up there working on the property, and they took their pontoon up. It wasn't a large pontoon, put it in down, at the marina, and came around in front of my house and caught some fresh salmon for me out of there, which was wonderful. But it started to get a little bit, choppy. They had to hightail it out of there. They were there maybe an hour, caught a couple of fish, and had to hightail it out because the waves were starting to come
wow.
so great that they were scared. So,
Wow.
and it's
So it
cold, cold, cold.
really, yeah. So
Yeah.
it is like an
It's
ocean,
a
basically.
must.
It has the water tendency of an ocean.
Absolutely at 100 without the salt.
Got it. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. So, staying on the personal line, just because I like to get to know people on a personal level first, is, so that's one of your hobbies. That's one of the things that you do outside of working all the time. What are some of your other personal hobbies?
I love to cook. I love to rollerblade. I'm an outdoors girl. I have a gym in my back garage that I love. I wish I could get out there more. I have a dog. Family is probably my favorite pastime. I'm constantly doing things with my family, and they are all into golf. So I have found myself now taking golf lessons, and I got my new set of golfs yesterday. The professional that I'm working with is phenomenal. And so I picked my golf clubs up yesterday and made a beeline for my dad's house because I wanted to show him off, and I was so proud of him. So we're going golfing this Saturday.
Awesome.
Yeah, I figure, my family is always on the golf course. And if I want to be a part of what they're doing, I'm gonna have to learn to golf. I played softball my whole entire life, so it's a little bit of a different swing. It's a
Hmm.
very frustrating game, but I'm getting it, and I'm adamant about being great at it one day.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. My wife's the same way. She played softball, and you'd think hitting a stationary ball versus a ball being thrown at you would be a hell of a lot easier, but it's not. It's amazing how that is, right?
It is the most frustrating game, and I'm a pretty athletic person. It is the most frustrating sport I have ever attempted to play in my entire life. But
Yeah.
I never give up. That is my motto. I think one of the conversations that I've had recently, actually, I have a young person that's coming up in the business and asked me for my advice. And I said, my motto is I never give up. No matter what it is that I am doing, I am relentless and tenacious in whatever I set before me. Like, I think I hounded you at least 4 times on that cruise. We're gonna do this, right? We're gonna do this. I was like that cartoon, with the little dog that, come on, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. I think I was like that. And that's how I am in my business. That's how I am in life. When I want something, nothing stands in my way.
I love it. I love it. Which is a great segue. So obviously, mortgage business, and I assume, but I'll ask you first, that a lot of your business is primarily coming from real estate agents, purchase business?
Real estate agent and past client referrals quite a bit. I have an attorney and an accountant that refers me some business, but a lot of it is sphere of influence. I started with my sphere of influence. I had a great leader when I got into the industry who is still a leader in our industry in our area. I'm so very good friends with, and she taught me how to structure government loans first, and making sure we're dotting I's and crossing T's. I mean, I remember this was back before we had automated underwriting, right? So our corporate office was around the corner from our little branch, and we'd turn in papers like stacked like that, and we would have highlighters. Okay, here is your driver's license, here's your W-2, here are your tax returns, here's your letters of explanation, and we would deliver those in person.
Yeah.
And so she and another gentleman really taught me the ins and outs of how to properly structure, document a loan. We were doing manually underwritten government FHA rural development VA loans back then, and that was in the wild west of non-conforming, right? So I think I did a loan one time, 100% financing with a 500 credit score, on an 80/20 with a DBA, no proof of income, no proof of assets. You know what I mean? It was just insane. So while I learned all of the non-conforming stuff, which was a great tool, my home was my government loans and my Fannie, Freddie, Ginnie, stuff like that. And like I said, I had a great teacher, and I taught myself a lot, as well. Same as anybody who was seeking out, to be a professional in this industry would do.
Yeah, absolutely. So you've kind of alluded to this, but I'm going to ask you more specifically. So as it relates to your referral partners, so obviously not just real estate agents, but also financial planners, attorneys, that sort of thing. Why is it that someone says, I got to work with Dione?
Well, I think that hopefully there's more than one reason. First of all, I'm honest, I'm dependable, I do what I say I'm going to do. I don't sugarcoat it. And I'm a communicator. I believe communication is key to success in any relationship, whether it be professional, personal, any type of relationship at all. Communication is key. And that is one of the things that I have prided myself on since day one. It was what I was taught. I was raised in a very communicative family. And I just feel like if I tell you I'm going to do something, then I do it. And if I make a mistake, I admit to it. You know what I mean? And if we have to take a chance on a deal, then I say, you know what, guys, here we are. I 99% sure I can get this done, but here are the obstacles. Client, do you mind if I share your information with these parties in an effort to help everybody be on the same page, stay on the same page, and with an open line of communication, keeps everything smooth. They know they can, my clients, my realtors, my sphere, they know that I make myself as available to them as I possibly can. I don't want to say 24/7, 365, but honestly, Jeff, that's the reality of it. To be a success, you have to make yourself available. And if you consider our clientele, the majority of them work 9 to 5. And so you have to be available on the weekends. You have to be available in the evenings. But with that comes also a resource of, hey, I want to go to my house up in Lake Superior and I'm going to work for a week up there because I can do that from anywhere. Other people can't. So that availability, maybe 9 o'clock in the morning, my son was in school and I could go to his whatever play he had or whatever event he had. You see what I'm saying? So it's about a give and a take. And people, they can count on me to do what I say I'm going to do and to put them into the best loan program for their situation. And that could be based on the house, right? So one of the things I tell my clients are, it's very important that you communicate with me, your loan officer, and your realtor what you've got going on. What are you feeling? What questions do you have? When you start asking your brothers and your sisters, which family is great, don't get me wrong, but when you start asking people who are not in the professional realm of what we do, their opinion, things can get skewed. And so one of the things that I'm very communicative with my clients are, whatever you've got on your mind, bring it to me first. Bring it to your realtor first. Let us, the licensed professionals with years of experience, walk you through your first time home ownership, your second time, because things change
Mhm.
throughout, every day. Life is changing every day, but our guidelines change every day. And while your brother may have had a great experience, just like his DNA is different than yours, your credit and your income and your assets are made up differently than his as well. So his experience isn't going to be the same as yours. So you need to rely on the professionals that you're trusting for advice and for what to do, when to do, how to do, and why to do.
Love
If
it.
that makes sense.
No, totally.
Long-winded
Totally.
answer.
No, I love it. I love it. And that's another great segue because you mentioned it is talking to, let's just say, a first-time home buyer. So what would be the best advice you would give to somebody who's looking to buy their house for the first time?
Get pre-approved first, understand where not only what you can get approved for, but what is your comfort zone for your monthly payments? Because interest rates, taxes, insurance all have a bearing on that. Your credit card debt, get pre-approved first. Work with a professional who can look at your overall file and tell you, okay, you need to do A, B, and C before you start looking at houses. You know what I mean? Let's get your credit worked out, or you need to save a little bit more money. There's various things that I tell my first time home buyers, but the very first thing is talk to a licensed professional that you trust and figure out exactly what it is that you really want. Because what you think you want maybe isn't a reality, right? So you might want a $200,000 house, but you may only can afford a $100,000 house. Or maybe you can afford a $200,000 house, but for your own comfort zone, your budget is more like a 100,000. The one thing that people don't seem to understand is in the mortgage world, you're amortizing your payment over a 30-year period. The difference between a 4% interest rate, 6% interest rate, there's a lot of dollars and cents in between there. But in the same token, a difference, let's say you got a 6% interest rate, right? We're not talking interest rates specifically, so I don't want to get anybody in trouble, but every $10,000 that you spend on a home is about $60 a month, right? If we're looking at an interest rate of 60. So if you say, okay, now I'm pre-approved for a $100,000 house, but I really found one for 110 that I like, I'd say, well, wait a second, let's look at this then. The difference between a $100,000 payment and a $110,000 payment truly is about $60 a month. Where can you cut your budget otherwise to make that $60 work for you? So I tried to ask my first time home buyers specifically, outside of what's reporting to your credit, what are you paying a month? Because we use your gross income and we use a percentage of that. And I want to make sure that you don't end up married to your house or house poor. Now you can't take your kids, to the Great Wolf Lodge or, to the arcade or whatever pastime it is that they choose to do that costs money because they've overdone it with their house payment. So I really try to get in, talk to my home buyers, figure out exactly what it is that they want, their needs, and then what's reality, right? And then I have a 10 commandments of real estate. Thou shalt not, quit your job, just the main things that sometimes people don't know
They overlook.
not to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I think anybody who listens to this is probably thinking to themselves, where is it that they can buy a house for 100 or 110,000 anymore?
well, fortunately, and that's again one of the reasons why they'll never leave Genesee County. We're doing a $40,000 loan right now. We got another $60,000 loan. We do down payment assistance programs. I don't want to say that we're all in low income area, but we have a lot of families who, they need that $40,000 home and that suits their needs. And there are lenders that won't do mortgages under 50 grand. The lowest loan amount I've ever done is $16,000. A home loan. Now it was several years ago, but it was a good house. It was $16,000. It was a young kid, first house, and I did it. You know what I mean? It's not all about the dollars and the cents. This is something that I've always told my son, who again I mentioned is my loan partner. It's not about the dollars and the cents that'll come. You think about a tree, right? When you plant a tree, it's small, right? But as it grows year over year, an oak tree specifically ends up with a huge trunk and a lot of branches with a lot of leaves. And that's how I build my business, right? I want to be the biggest oak tree that I can possibly be, even if the smallest branch, because that $140,000 loan that you've done, or that down payment assistance, or that family that you've helped that nobody else will, I promise you, will bring you in additional business. And
Yeah.
that's what I've stood on for the past 21 years is you give what you get and you do right by people. You align yourself with like-minded, good people, and you will get good.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to give back to my community, to my clients, to my realtors, and what I've tried to teach my son in this industry and anybody else that works with me for that matter.
That's really good. That's really good. And another reason why a real estate agent should want to work with you, because you're not discriminating against a smaller priced buyer, basically, which a lot of lenders will.
Yeah.
So that's great. Now on that same vein, I'm sure you have in your years of experience, some memorable client success stories. What's one that stands out the most to you?
So if you want, I'll never forget. I have a numerous, but this one is it's awesome, it's comical, and it's we're still friends. So clients come to me, right? And they need some credit repair. No problem. I don't mind helping them with that. I destroyed my credit when I was younger after my mom passed away and I had a really tough time. And so I destroyed my credit in a very difficult time in my life. And so I took that and learned from it. What can I do to help other people who have had crazy circumstances that have, ruined their credit? Well, this particular client met those circumstances and I was like, no problem. I'm going to help you, right? So we took a couple of months. We got his credit score good enough to do an FHA loan, right? Which I think back then was like 620 or something. So we got him up to just over a 620. Found a house that he and his wife absolutely loved, but it was at the top of their budget. And I mean the top of their budget. And I was like, okay, you guys, we need this, and this. Don't do anything. Don't do anything. Don't buy anything. Don't let anybody run your credit. Don't make any large deposits in your bank accounts. All of the do's and the don'ts. So it was tough. The client had several different jobs. He had got a gift letter, for gift funds. And so we get down closer to closing and we have to do what you call like a soft pull on credit to make sure that, our clients haven't bought anything that would affect their debt to income ratios. I'll be darned if this client didn't go to Home Depot and charge up about $7,000 in
No.
appliances.
Oh
And
no.
I call him and I say, so-and-so, is there anything you want to tell me? Any new purchases you made or anything like that? Nope, Dion, nothing. I said, are you sure about that? Nope, nothing. I goes, all right. I said, well, I need you to come into the office and sign a few pieces of paper for me. I wanted to look him in the face. So he comes in, and my assistant at the time, Karen, she was a little bit older than I was. So we brought him into the office and we sat him down and we both looked at him. We were like, are you sure you haven't bought anything from Home Depot? Oh, I don't know, maybe $7,000 worth of appliances or, something along those lines. And his eyes got so big. And my assistant stuck a grown man in the corner for lying to us, literally. And I said, so this is what you can do. You got two options. Figure out a way to return those appliances that your beautiful wife wants for this beautiful new home. I said, or you're going to be plugging them into the streetlights because I'm not going to be able to approve you if you don't return those appliances. Your debt to income ratios were already out of whack, and you just went to Home Depot and charged up 7,000, but it's 0%, same as cash. I said, that doesn't matter.
It
So
doesn't make it
long
a zero
story,
payment.
yeah, I goes, dude, this is how it is. So he returned them. We closed on his house. He's still a friend. I've done he and his family's mortgage and some of their, extended family over the years, numerous times. Still talk to him, and I still tell him, boy, don't make me put you in that corner again.
What a great lesson though for anyone. I mean, it seems like it's just the knowledge or the advice that anybody should know, but it's like when you're in the moment, you just get caught up. And like you say, I can imagine, and my wife's probably already out shopping, a month before we even close on something. And it's like, just relax. Let's wait till we get in first. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I don't think people maliciously do
No.
things, but we had one client, I just heard this the other day, and I was reminded of it. My assistant that retired, she's like, hey D, do you remember when that client was a school teacher and she was done for the summer, but she was still getting her paychecks and she wanted to go into a different profession in the middle of her buying a house, and she thought because she was a teacher and she still got checks through the end of the year she could quit her job, like we weren't going to call and do a last minute verification. Yeah, that lady didn't, we never did close her. She was a teacher, quit her job, didn't have a new job, but because she still got paychecks throughout the rest of the year, because that's how teachers work, you know, you're on
Mm-hmm.
9 months, off 3 months. We didn't close her. We waited 6 months until she got back on another job and closed her, but she lost her house over that. So that's again, educate on first time home buyers and current. You know,
Yeah.
you cannot, I tell them, I'm like, don't do anything without asking me. And then I've got this checklist, the 10 commandments that I give them and
Good.
communicate with them. You know,
That's
some
good.
of them be like, Dion, we've got to buy groceries. Is it okay? I'm like, dude, you guys can live your life. Just don't
Hey,
do anything
I'd
like, you
rather I'd
know,
rather a- I'd rather a borrower be that cautious and ask, you know?
absolutely.
I love it. So what's the future hold? What are your future goals, aspirations? Do you want to do this forever?
I do want to do this forever. It might not be the only thing that I do forever. You know, I've mentioned now for the third time that my son, Lauren Trigger, he's watched me,
Hmm.
you know, grow my business since he was a young child, you know, and he's got his a business degree from U of M. He's been a realtor, a property manager, he's been a processor, he's been an underwriter, and now he's a loan officer. And so
Awesome.
he and I are really partnering. And not that I'm shifting my business, because I'm not, but he is definitely bringing something to the game that is now allowing me to do stuff like this with you. You know what I mean? So I want to grow still in Genesee County and the surrounding parts of Michigan. Um, I want him to grow, you know, and I never want to stop originating, but I'm looking for that next level. How can I grow my business? What else can I do to set myself apart from my competitors? And that's one of the reasons why I was so adamant about reaching out to you, because you are doing phenomenally. You're helping our company grow, you know, so just investing in myself to give back so that I can help others, because that is one of my primary passions.
I love it. I love it. Last question. Do you have like a motto?
My motto is never give up. That is my 100% motto.
Very simple.
You know, I
Very
don't
simple,
know.
but very profound.
Yeah. Well, I've got a metal sign that I found at a you know, like you go to one of those big uh antique style
Hmm.
auctions and
Hmm.
stuff,
Hmm.
and they were making metal signs, and it's probably like, I don't know, this big, if you, well, it's longer than this clock if you can see it. And it says in silver, never give up. And I have it above any desk of any office that I've ever been in. And I mean that in more than just professionally. I mean that personally. You know, everybody's life isn't perfect, right? You wake up one day and you're in a bad mood or you're depressed. And if you let that get you, if you give up, you know, you, I don't know. I don't have it in me. And some days I want to. And throughout this industry and this career and the changes, trust me
Hmm.
when I tell you I've wanted to, but I'm never going to. That is my motto. I am, that's just something that I live by, and my family knows that. They know they can count on me. My clients know that. My realtors know that. I never give up. But if there comes a time where there's something that I can't do, then I am forthright with that. You know what I mean? I just
Hmm.
think an honest integrity, your morals and your ethics are the most important thing as a human being, and that will trickle down to your professional life. And that's what I want people to see.
Awesome. How can people connect with you? What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Oh my goodness, there's so many ways to call me and text me. I prefer my cell phone still. I'm old school. I like face to faces. I like phone calls. You know, I don't mind the text messaging. That's definitely a fast, easy way to do it. I can be reached by cell phone at 810-625-7381. You can text me there. My email address is doliver@USA with a little dash hyphen mortgage.com.
Hmm.
I have Facebook, Instagram. You can
Just
find me at,
it's just your name on those platforms.
it's Dion the Mortgage Lady is the Facebook, one of the Facebooks, and then Dione Oliver is my other Facebook. Yeah, but I'm old school. I'm old fashioned. Call me, text
Love it.
me.
Love it. Do you have a
Yeah.
website?
DionTheMortgageLady.com.
Awesome. Perfect. Dion, it's been a pleasure. It's been great to Great to learn more about you on a personal level. And now I'm going to have aspirations to come visit Lake Superior at some point.
You are gonna love it. Bring your family. We will have the time of our life, I promise.
I've never snowmobiled before, so I might have to take you up on that.
Are you adrenaline junkie?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
yeah.
You'll never want to stop. It's the best.
I love
It's
it. I love
beautiful
it.
scenery. You can go fast. It's just beautiful. We do 400 miles.
Wow.
I'd say in 2 days, usually we'll cover 300 to 400 miles, around. It's
Yeah.
just amazing. That's one of my most favorite things in life.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, it's been a pleasure. I've enjoyed doing this and look forward to sharing this with the world.
Thank you so much, Jeff. Have a great day.